footballing on that Monday. Underneath the lines, it's the football anthem. Still the teams collide. It's the football anthem. Here's a crowd at night.
All right. Update.
Back at it. Holiday.
Back. We're back at it with another stream. Let's go ahead, dive right into it. I want to start off with the Red Wings. So Red Wings playing well right now. They're 30-16. They got 64 points on the season. Excuse me. So Reid, where you at with this Red Wings team right now? And do you see them making any moves before the deadline? Deadline's not until March, but do you see them making any moves by then?
Yeah, we got some time before that deadline. It's tough to say with these Detroit teams. I know we talk about it all the time in our group chat because these GMs are all win with our guys. And I think with these two teams, the Wings and the Pistons, I mean, doing so well, Wings are at 30 wins, and I think they're tied for first in the East, or they are first in the East. I think last I saw, unless the game yesterday put them in first, but I think last I looked, they were tied. I think they will try to add, but don't expect big names. You're not going to get your Rantanen from last year where that was, talks, obviously the Hughes talks that never happened. There's a defenseman for the Rangers whose name escapes me now, who might be able, you might be able to trade for, but I don't think Steve Yzerman's going to want to trade a lot of his young guys as these Detroit teams do. I know that there's also a defenseman for the Blackhawks, again, whose name I forgot, he's an older vet, and they need some older vets on that defense. Pelika's kind of come back, but he's really not a big enough defenseman to hold his own. He's a great scoring defenseman, but he kind of lacks the size and physicality. But I do think this team will look to add. I think Stevie Y is going to add some more veterans and probably ship off some of the veterans that haven't really become what he thought they would be. I think like maybe an Appleton could be on a trading block for them as like a piece to go and get someone bigger. Van Riemsdyk's been huge for them, so they might add a forward. I know I saw something where they were talking about adding a veteran forward. Depth's always good, I guess. Third line guy if you need it, maybe a possible second line guy. But you're so deep in those wings and forwards that it's not really a need as much as a defenseman is. I think the only thing that they would probably add is some vet guys for the defense and maybe a forward. But I wouldn't put all my money on a forward. I would definitely put it on a veteran defenseman, though.
Yeah, Reid's the hockey guy, really. I kind of feel out what he has to say. But coming back to what he said, we talk about this all the time in our group chat. Just, do we really trust these GMs to make anything with the splash? Honestly, no. We'll see what happens. I know they're actually tied for second with 6 points in the Eastern Conference. So they're also a good start, first place in their division. But I do think if you're trying to win the cup, you need to make another move that's going to get you over the top. The playoffs should be expected by this point as long as Stevie Y has been there. So I think the goal is not to just even get to the playoffs, but win a couple series at least. At the bare minimum, as long as he's been running this team. So, I would expect that, but maybe, like you say, Reid and Raaj, small moves, but I don't think they're going to do anything blockbusterish because some of those trades have kind of already happened this season.
Yeah, as long as they do something, it just has to be a crazy splash because I think as the team's constructed right now, all the top guys are playing well. Raymond, DeBrincat, Larkin, Van Riemsdyk, he's been playing very well too.
Hit my parlay today. Thanks, Raaj.
Oh, you ended up hitting it?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah,
he was like plus 270 to get a goal too. But yeah, Ram Riemsdyk, he's been well. I think he got like 13 goals on the season. This team is good enough. I think they're going to make the playoffs. But don't just look to make the playoffs. Get in and try to make a deep run. And if adding a trade, bringing somebody in, will take you over the top and help you out with that deep run, do it. Whether that's a big splash or a small splash. But I definitely expect this team to make the playoffs. And yeah, that deadline's not until March, so we got time. So we see how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I think last thing I'll say is you got guys like Edvinson's playing really good, Sider's playing unbelievable. And again, I mentioned Pelika's been playing really good for a younger player. So I just think the veteran presence will probably help. Like you said, I don't think big splashes are going to happen because a lot of the younger guys that would have to trade, he probably wouldn't want to get rid of, like a Danielson. You could potentially see a Casper, but I still think he's too young to get traded. But Casper's kind of been on a downswing. He ended last season very strong, but this year he's been not so great. I know he did recently just score. It was either the last game or the game before, and he's been solid, but I don't think any of those guys are going to get traded unless it's an absolute like huge name, and we know Steve Yzerman's really not doing that type of move. So I think the young guys are going to stick around, and you're not trading, your big name pieces to get those. So I think it's going to be vets only, adding. It just seems to me that I don't know if there's anybody really on the market either that is catching the Red Wings' eye right now for, that would potentially replace some of these guys. Now, skill-wise, are there guys that could replace them? Yes, but I think that for what Steve Yzerman and Todd McClellan really want for this team is they don't want to split that main two lines up, and they're not going to trade away, young guys for a guy who's flashy and may not be what they want. So I do think they make the playoffs. I think they could win a playoff series too, especially if they're a higher in it. NHL playoffs are really weird, the seeding and everything, but I think they could win a playoff series definitely, and probably go far in the second round. But I don't see this as being a cup team by any means. Goaltending is a little too shoddy in my opinion. I mean, Gibson's been great, but you can't rely on Talbot. If Gibson either goes down or needs a break, it can be tough. So
yeah, I agree with that. I can see them winning around in the playoffs, but I don't expect them to fully get to the cup, but definitely expect them to get there and compete for sure. All right, cool. So yeah, Wings in Toronto tomorrow. So yeah, that should be a good one. All right, let's get to the NBA. Some Pistons. So the Pistons had a nationally televised MLK game yesterday against Boston. It seemed like a playoff atmosphere in there. Good game. They squozed that one out. So Cade. So the All-Star starters were announced in the East. You got Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, Tyrese Maxey, and Cade. So Adrian, how you feel about Cade getting his first All-Star start nod?
It's about damn time. We've been waiting a long time. The first starter for Detroit since Allen Iverson, y'all. What was that, 08? 07, 08?
I think it was 07, 08.
We came a long way, man. So much deserved from Cade. Well done. And even these games we talked about yesterday, even these games where he hasn't shot the ball well, there's been a few games, these past couple games, he is dishing the ball. He's getting everybody involved from a Duncan Robinson. I think he has 3 or 4 straight games with 5+3 threes made at least. Jalen Duren come back from the ankle injury, playing well. He's just getting everybody involved and playing a pseudo point guard, and I believe arguably competing for the best point guard in the league behind, most people would say SGA, but Cade is on MVP run this year, and he has a chance to win it, I believe. And I'm happy, man. I couldn't ask for much more. I was a guy who was really high on Cade when we drafted him, and a lot of Pistons fans and a lot of people doubted this pick, but I never wavered, man. So come a long way, and it's really only the beginning for Cade right now. I think he's just going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, at one point I think it was Mobley over Cade talk at one point, which I'm not taking anything away from Mobley.
Jalen Green.
Yeah, Jalen Green and Mobley and Cade should have been 3rd or 4th, which is crazy to me. I think he definitely deserved it. I mean, he's been playing, like Adrian said, his shooting's been a little lackluster recently, but I mean, he's shown he's averaging almost 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists and 7 rebounds, something like that, almost 8. He's like, it's him and Luka are the only two doing those type of numbers. Obviously, Luka's scoring a little bit more, but yeah, I definitely think he deserves it. I think the lineup I said to you guys is a little weird for, it's 4 guards and a power forward for the East, but those All-Star games don't matter ultimately. So, it's definitely well deserved, and he's, the captain of the team that's number 1 in the East. So he definitely deserved it. And if he didn't get in for first team, I think it would have been, I think he got second amongst players, or second amongst NBA voters, first amongst players, and 4th amongst fans or something like that. I saw he had good voting. So yeah, if he didn't get in on the first team, I think people would have been a little bit up in arms on the NBA voting.
Yeah. Okay. All-Star starter. It's the first of many more to come, in my opinion. As long as he can stay healthy, this will be the first of many. So Adrian, you expect the Pistons to make any moves before this February 5th trade deadline, or do you think making a trade would mess up the camaraderie, the chemistry of this team?
I mean, a lot of people have been saying that, but then when you come and look at it, like I've told you guys, we don't have enough shooting. I mean, regardless of if you want to give up a Holland or Ivy or Tobias or a Picker, Holland, or however you want to do it, we need to add one more shooter. I actually do like Duncan Robinson a lot, but when he's not hitting shots, he can't guard a wheelchair. So just even getting cooked by Joey Hauser last night on back doors and just slow. But when he's shooting the ball, he's fantastic. But if he's not hitting shots, I just imagine in the playoff series where he posed a Malik Beasley from last year against the Knicks where he can't put the ball in the ocean. So just those things. Like I said, like what Darren's doing, but we need to be able to spread the floor. Thompson, we still going to give you defense. But Ron Holland, kind of the more and more I watch him play, it's kind of more to me where I'm kind of looking at him as the odd man. Now, we need to go get another shooter, rather that is a combination of a Lauri Markkanen, a Trey Murphy, a Michael Porter Jr., just any guy in the league who's going to elevate shooting. We need to give Cade a second option where everything is not on him because, as we all know, Darren gets all his points off putbacks and dunks and alley-oop, so he can't create his own points because he hasn't hit a jumper yet. So that can come back to bite us in the playoffs if we don't get it together now. Should we do it? Yes. Will we do it? I don't know. I'm going to give Trajan Langdon a chance, but I don't expect anything major to happen. I think the bare minimum for me is at least get Michael Porter Jr. because you can get him for pennies on the dime. So, but we'll see what happens.
So Reid, as this team is constructed right now, can they represent the East in the finals?
As they're constructed right now, I think there's a possibility. As they're constructed right now, I'd give them probably a 65% chance to represent the East, just because, I mean, they've shown you that they're beating Boston. They beat the brakes off the Knicks. The Pacers, they're not even in the discussion. The Heat, there's just not a lot. The Bucks are way down there. They're not even close to a playoff. I think they're 11th right now in the East. So, I think 10th maybe. I just looked at recently. But yeah, I think that they could. I think they're the odds-on favorite to represent 11th. Yeah, I think they're the odds-on favorite to represent the East. If you ask other people, I think they would probably the majority would probably say no because the Knicks are a popular team, the Celtics are a popular team, but the Celtics are now 5.5 games behind us, I believe. Knicks are 7 games behind us. Building that lead away. I'm with Adrian. I would like to get Trey Murphy. Everything I read is. Pels, as we know, is a dysfunctional organization. Probably aren't trade. Does Trajan still have connections to there? Maybe we could pull off like a Stafford Rams type thing where he knows people, like Brad Holmes did. He knows people. Maybe he can, butter some people up, get Trey Murphy, and send Ivy their way with Tobias and some picks. That would ultimately be my favorite choice. Second would be MPJ. I think the Markkanen thing is so far out now that it's not going to happen. He hasn't played a lot. He's been injured. I think he's kind of saving himself for a trade. So I think MPJ could be realistic. I know we saw the thing of Harris LeVert and Tobias with 2 picks. One's unprotected. One was protected top 10. I would throw another first in there to sweeten the deal because I ultimately don't care about first-round picks in the NBA, especially if you're going to be first in the East this year, and you'll most likely be top 3 to 4 next year, I would say. I mean, with a healthy Celtics and maybe a healthy Pacers, like you could be in the mix with those teams, especially if you're an MPJ who can space the floor. You can move Duncan to come off the bench. He can get you the threes off the bench. Like Adrian said, he's an absolute cone. He can't defend. He couldn't defend a guy. He couldn't defend a wheelchair basketball team. Like it is something that of need. Now, do I think they get the big splash of a name? I think Porter Jr. is probably the most realistic. Does it happen? I probably don't think so because I feel like Trajan probably wouldn't want to give up Tobias and mess up that chemistry that you were talking about. I think they'll try and go get more shooting, but I would expect like maybe not so much a Malik Monk, but of Malik Monk ilk. You know what I mean? Like he'll like a guy that is probably a 6-man somewhere else that can come off the bench here and help shooting that you thought Karras was going to bring that he's not really bringing as much. I think they'll try and get like 1 or 2 guys in that way. They'll try and ship off like some guys that don't really play, maybe a Sasser and some guys like Paul Reid, even though he's not like anything, crazy, he's still a glue guy. I think Javonte Green is a guy that they're going to keep around, but he would be a great trade chip in my opinion. But he's a guy that just, I think, plays too much Detroit basketball that they're not going to get rid of him. So my hope would be Michael Porter Jr. My expectation is 1 to 2 Malik Monk-esque guys that are coming off the bench shooting threes.
Yeah, I see Kuminga requested a trade out of Golden State. That's somebody I would like to see them get too.
That's not going to happen now with Jimmy Butler. I don't think that happens now with the Jimmy Butler torn ACL news last night, because now Steve Kerr is not going to have a choice but to play Kuminga at this point. Now he holds all the kind of cards in that situation.
Yeah, I wonder why he hasn't been playing him from the jump anyway.
There's something weird going on. I don't really know what is going on with that whole situation. It's been kind of weird since the summertime, where he was kind of negotiating. He signed that 2-year, $45 million contract. Well, and I think the Warriors made that deal knowing that they could trade him on a good contract, and the team could pay him and they could get some good value for it. But like I said, with Jimmy Butler getting hurt now, it kind of just diminishes that for them. So they're talking about, they don't know if it's even like beyond repair for him to fix that relationship with Steve Kerr. But Steve Kerr's had this weird thing where he does like, they drafted all those young guys, him, Moody, like to be like the next guys up in that Golden State like dynasty that they were going on, but he won't play them. I don't understand.
Is this real? Is this real? Someone in the chat said Ja just got traded.
No, he said, do you guys see Ja getting traded?
Oh, sorry, dyslexia. My fault. I thought it said, did you guys see Ja got traded? I'm dumb. Sorry. Don't let me read take away my access to comments.
Eliente says, do you guys see Ja getting traded?
Yeah.
I'm going to say with Reid. I'm going to say no currently. I seen what Ja had to say the other day after that, on Sunday after they played the Magic in London. And he said this is where I want to be. So that's the first time I've actually heard him make a public statement about it. So I don't think he does.
I think it all comes down to what the GMs, kind of see from him from now until, was it February 3rd? Is that what the trade deadline? February
5th.
5th. Okay, I do it as a 5th or 3rd. I think they're going to see what happens in the next 7 to 10 days. I would see where Ja's at and see what they can get for him and potentially trade him. But ultimately, now that Adrian says it, I don't know if he will, but I think management will look at what they can get for him, and if it's something that's going to benefit them, they probably would trade Ja, because he's been hurt. He was hurt last season. I think maybe they want to maybe do a flip, which is it the best idea? Probably not, but Grizzlies are in one of those organizations that you can mix in with the Hornets and the Pelicans that just never know what they're doing. I'm going to jump back to the Kuminga thing. I would like the Pistons to get him. I ultimately like him because he's young. I don't know if he offers you that next level potential of going. The guy is going to make you go to the finals, but he would definitely, longevity wise, would stretch out your run of the East, because he is a good power forward. I think that ultimately his price tag is probably going to be a little too heavy for Trajan Langan to go after. He's like that in that Lauri Markkanen type of deal, not echelon of player, but type of deal that you would have to send away to get him, because he's so young and he is cheap. Like Adrian said, 2 years, $45 million isn't like, it's not anything that's super expensive. So, I think he could get. I think Kuminga does get traded, but I don't think it's to the Pistons.
Well, how about you go maybe like a couple other guys I can think of? Cam Thomas will be one. I know he plays with Michael Porter Jr. He's a microwave oven scorer, and then even Reid talked about this a couple weeks ago. He mentioned it in the group chat. How about a guy like a Keldon Johnson or a Devin Vassell from San Antonio? They have enough depth where they can give a guy up. So maybe just a couple ideas out there. Just throwing some guys out there who shouldn't cost you a huge penny, but just make the call.
Ultimately, that was where my point came from, of like those Malik Monk-esque guys. Is like Keldon Johnson, I think, is stuck in a Spurs organization with too many roadblocks, to where you have your Stephon Castles, you have your Vassell who starts over him, you have your, well, when he's healthy, you have your, you have your Harpers, Castle, Harper. Like, you got all those guys that are kind of automatic starters over Keldon because they're younger, they're on rookie contracts, they're playing well. I think that he's just a guy guy that the Spurs probably want to keep around because he's good coming off the bench, but ultimately I think Keldon would like a bigger role, and I would love him on this team because I think he is a guy that you could plug into the starting lineup, and he probably would, he probably could average, 38 to 39. He's averaging 40% from three right now, and I think he can give you that here. He can create. He can space the floor. He's actually really good at defending. He's good underneath the basket too. So I think he would add a lot. He's a guy that, like I said to you guys, I would like to go get. What the price tag is, I don't know, but I'd be willing to trade like a Jaden Ivey and maybe like a couple second rounders. I think that could get it done potentially, or Jaden Ivey and Karis LeVert. And or Jaden Ivey, I don't know if I necessarily would trade it first, but if it came down to it, I probably would because, again, like I said, your team's so good, it doesn't even like first round picks really aren't anything that you should be holding on to in the NBA unless you're OKC and you have a million of them.
San Antonio has a ton of them, so I'm sure they'd be willing to give it up for something. Actually, they're currently in a delay right now for these Rockets and Spurs game. Something's wrong with the rim. I think it's like unbalanced or something.
I was gonna say, what is there lightning in this stadium?
It's like I think Wemby went for a dunk and it's like unbalanced or something. So trying to
bring out the level.
Yeah. So Adrian, LeBron was not named an All-Star starter for the first time in 21 seasons. He could still potentially be a reserve. The All-Star game is in LA this year. So do you think LeBron deserves to be an All-Star this year?
I mean, I'm gonna say this. My biggest, he's gonna be an all-star, whether I think he is or not. I don't think he does. I think there's more guys that are more deserving, especially since he missed so much time. And I do want to say this: my biggest gripe with the all-star starters, especially the team USA, is the fact that Anthony Edwards didn't make it. I believe he should have made it over Jalen Brunson or Tyrese Maxey. Just my opinion.
Crazy. No, I agree with you. I'm shaking my head because I
don't understand it.
I don't like to hate on Jalen Brunson because I do think he's a good player. I think Jalen Brunson kind of gets a little bit more of the hype because of the New York aspect of it.
They're not even playing good right now.
Yeah, and he's also been hurt a lot too. I know Ant's missed a couple of games, but I mean they've probably missed close to the same. I would think Brunson maybe missed a little bit more, but I mean there's arguments that Donovan Mitchell could have been an all-star over Brunson. He's averaging more points, he's averaging more assists and rebounds, and he's shooting better. But I think that whole New York aspect of it really gives Jalen Brunson an edge over a lot of players. And I mean, again, I hate to hate on the guy, but I also have disdain for him because Knicks fans are insufferable, and we had to go up against them last year. So.
Yeah, and the Knicks got a better record. They're probably played.
Yeah.
Well, D. Mitch even said he's not playing as good as he should, so he understands. He said he wasn't surprised when he seen the results. So that's a guy coming from a good perspective. He said Cleveland's starting to play better, but he's like, I got to be better. So he understands. He'll probably be a reserve though. If I had to guess, LeBron will definitely be a reserve. It's in LA, so there's no way it's not gonna happen. So.
Yeah, as far as the LeBron thing goes, I think he could be a reserve, like Adrian said. Is there not a requirement for amount of games played by the All-Star game? Because I feel like
not that I'm aware of. No, nothing like just for like award that I'm aware of. No rule for All-Star game because the fans, because what the coaches, the players, and the fans all get to vote. Correct?
Yeah. I think that the tough thing is he's only played 24 games this season. Maybe it's 25 or 26 now since I last looked.
He's missed half the season. So
yeah, last I looked it was 24. I mean, he probably will make it off of name and legacy alone. I would think there's definitely guys that probably deserve it over him. A guy that I think, different position, but a guy that I think could be a reserve in the West, and it might be a shocking take to people, but I think Keontae George from the Jazz could be a second a reserve All-Star. He's been playing out of his mind with Markkanen being down so often. I mean, he had 42 the other day, I believe, and I think LeBron will end up making it, but I think there's definitely guys more deserving. The West is just, again, we know the West is just crazy because it's so packed, and there's guys like Joker made it, and who knows if he's even going to play.
He's probably. I don't think he does.
Exactly. I mean, he's got his injury, so it's just the West is way too wild west to think maybe these smaller name guys, your Keontae Georges, are going to get in. So I think name alone gets him in.
Hey Raaj, could you read this Just chat by act real quick so I can tell people what I got a take on that.
All right, Axe says the All-Star game used to reward players for decent performances. Now it's a popularity contest like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, 100%. The players don't take it serious. Like, guys, when we think about when we were kids, like before I would say maybe right after the Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine dunk contest part 2, this is when it kind of nosedive. Now you got nobody wants to be in the dunk contest. Everybody wants to be out there just having a good time in Houston, LA, wherever it may be. So, it kind of pisses me off a little bit because there's guys that in the league that can play, and most of these people that vote on it don't even watch games. Like another guy, Denny Avdia from Portland. That guy's he's averaging like 25 and 9 this year, hooping for Portland, and they got all that stuff going on. Shaedon Sharp, which Reid was super high on, and he's turned into a freaking star, which the Pistons would have ended up drafting him. But hey, but you pay attention to basketball. Even like Stephon Castle's having a phenomenal second year in the league right now. So it just makes me mad as a guy who loves the NBA. These guys just don't want to play hard.
Yeah, we need to. They still reward the players. It's just it rewards it in an amount of money that doesn't even matter to them because NBA contracts are so insane. But I mean, it's all these awards and All-Star and Pro Bowls and everything like that. They're popularity contests now. We know that ever since they started letting fans vote people in. It was trying to get fans more engaged in this stuff, and it just kind of ruined it, in my opinion. We got G Leaguers and guys pulling guys off the street to do dunk contests. I'm pretty sure last time we went to a Pistons game, someone from the NBA approached Raaj and asked him if he wanted to perform in the dunk contest. It's like the 3-point anymore. You watched the game last year. I mean, Steph was shooting threes from the half court. Like, guys are doing dunks because nobody plays defense. I mean, that's the way the league goes now. So it is unfortunate. I don't think there's any fixing it because I don't think the players are ever going to change. The only thing I wish they would do is just go back to wearing your own team's jersey when you're in the All-Star game. I think that would be like more people almost would probably be more engaged just to see that. I don't know when that I forgot when that happened when they changed, but that was like what made the NBA All-Star game so cool is because you would see like a Timberwolves and like, Lakers and Nuggets jersey on the court at the same time, or you'd see a Pistons and the Celtics and a 76ers, at the same time. So it's just, it's the unfortunate reality that we live in now of how much these guys get paid across every single sport that it's just never going to be the same.
Yeah, I know they changed the format up. Isn't it like the USA versus the world or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had that for a little bit.
I actually think that might be a good idea if these guys do play hard because we've had this conversation, guys, that the world right now, like arguably the top 5 players in the league right now are international players right there. So maybe this will give the US some pride. I don't know. We see like Ant would have been the perfect guy to be starting in this game because he's gonna attack. He has an aggressive mentality, but it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, man. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, like look at the first 3 on the court for the US. It would have been Cade, Maxey, and probably Ant, I would say, or Cade, Brunson, and Ant, like, or even those 4. Like you have those, you would have Cade, Brunson.
Tatum probably would have been on there had he not got hurt, but.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just it is and probably Halliburton probably would have been
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. Yeah,
he's playing well this year. I give him that.
Yeah, it's just it's. I mean, yeah, does
Follow,
the world,
maybe
does the
follow.
world versus the world? Doesn't he do Canadian or something? Doesn't he take Canadian? I thought he'd take a different nationality for that.
He has like Italian. I think Italian.
I know he's Italian. I thought he was Canadian, but maybe I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I know.
His dad's like Italian or something.
I know. Well, with a name like Boncaro, I would assume so. But I know that SGA is Canadian. Yeah, I mean, like Adrian said, all the other guys would play for the world team: SGA, Luka, Joker, Giannis.
Jamal Murray's Canadian.
Yeah, there's 4 right there. I mean, I don't know if Jamal Murray would start, but there's at least 4. Wemby French. There's top.
Shingun.
He's like Turkish. Yeah. I mean,
like, what are we really gonna do? Like, we could have this conversation for hours, but what are we really gonna do when when LeBron, Steph, and KD just hang up. Not worried, calm worried. I really am worried because they've been carrying the NBA for a long time, and it's just sad. And I really feel bad for Steph just because you should have seen the look on his face last night after he realized Jimmy Butler tore his ACL.
That sucks for Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler as a player, and I don't like seeing guys, especially in the NBA, really take it. Like in the playoffs last year, losing Tatum. I'm a big Tatum guy. I know people hate on Tatum. He is corny. I will give him that, but he's a phenomenal player. And seeing him go down, I don't like Halliburton either. But again, phenomenal player. Seeing guys tear ACLs, or Achilles and ACLs, whatever it may be, stinks. It is tough, like you said, when those legacy guys. I think it's going to be a little bit bittersweet for us because we grew up watching these guys. But I think guys like Tatum and Cade and Ant and SGA, like you got guys that are still solid players to watch. Now, are they ever going to be LeBron, KDs, and stuff like that? I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's hard to see legacy players go down and leave. You know, guys who've won 3-4 championships on teams. It's gonna be really hard. I mean, my guy Kawhi, when he retires, I'm gonna be heartbroken about it.
Yeah, we're seeing the changing of the guards for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got a comment here from Ish. It said, "Would be nice if the NBA got rid of the dunk contest as well as the actual All-Star game."
I'm not mad about it. The only thing I honestly like about the All-Star game is the 3-point contest. It's actually kind of exciting to get the right guys in there because guys will actually perform in that. So that's really about it I can say about that.
I mean, the NBA All-Star Game used to be like it used to blow the Pro Bowl out of the water, and even when they were doing tackle football, it still used to be so good. But I mean, getting rid of it, I don't think would be. It's not in the spirit of the game. Obviously, we all know that. We know it's never going to happen. The dunk contest, yeah, I think, or like make it mandatory for an actual team to send a couple of guys to just be all-stars. So let's say the Grizzlies don't have anybody, you can send, Triple J or ask Ja if you want to.
Kind of how like baseball used to do. They used to send one representative from every team.
Exactly, but like you wouldn't have to send them to play in the All-Star game, but send a representative from the team let's say not every guy wants to perform in the 3-point contest. Okay, well let's go ask somebody from the Raptors, or let's go ask somebody from Utah if they want to perform and they can go and play in the All-Star game. But let's ask them if they want to do the dunk contest. I think that'd be a good way to at least make it a little more interesting, so you're not having no-name guys perform in the dunk contest, and maybe the 3-point contest is I still think, like Adrian said, it's still interesting if you get the right guys. It just all depends, because a lot of times the 3-point contest isn't always won by a Steph or a Devin Booker. It can be won by
guys. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. Like you could send any player from the Celtics. They shoot like the most threes in the NBA right now without Jason Tatum. I think they shoot like 1.5 less threes a game than Golden State, and it's crazy. What's that? Hauser, he went 10 for 21 the other day, the game before the Pistons, and that was all with 3 points. Every single shot was a 3-pointer. Send that guy. Like, let him perform in it. Why not?
Yeah, I'd like to see our guy Ron Holland in the dunk contest. He's had some crazy dunks this season.
Sure. Make
Asar.
Yeah. Make Asar and Amen go up against each other. Those guys are freak athletes. Like, why don't you ask them if they want to go?
They're from the LA area, so
yeah, I just think that would be a very good Band-Aid to put on to the All-Star game.
Too smart though, makes too much sense.
Right. All right, cool. Let's get some NFL in here. So the Lions did hire a new offensive coordinator, the former OC for the Cardinals, Drew Petzing. So, Reid, how do you like this hire, and do you expect him to call the plays?
Yeah, I do expect him to call the plays because Dan Campbell already said that he wants to get back to what he was doing and have an input on it, but not have to worry about calling the plays the whole game. Ever since I had some time to marinate on it, I was a little upset. Still kind of am. I mean, you want the sexy name. Obviously, you had the Mike McDaniel, and you have the guy from the Rams and the Giants. It's just there's guys that you really wanted out there that were, this guy came out of the blue. Like, you didn't even know they were interviewing him. I don't think there was anything out that they interviewed him. He just kind of got hired out of nowhere. I hope it's not a smartest guy in the room move. You do look at the stats. I mean, Kyler Murray obviously didn't play last year, but when he had Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett for the small amount of games that they played, Josh Dobbs, when he was coaching him, threw for like 1,600 yards. Jacoby Brissett had 1,300. They have a really strong run game when they have healthy running backs. You get Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Monty's probably on his way out. You could probably see them draft his replacement. I've heard people talk about how this guy likes running, 11, 12, and the 13 personnel. So that would be all extra tight ends. So you get Laporta involved. You saw how good McBride was last year. Michael Wilson on the Cardinals is really good. I think they're trying to get back to the run game, play action, dink and dunk. As long as Goff can get the ball out quick, I think he'll succeed. I hope he does well because I obviously want the Lions to do well. I think the McDaniel thing is potentially because he might go to the Ravens and he maybe wanted a different job so he can. If he doesn't get the Ravens, he already told Cleveland he's not going there. Maybe waiting for a job next year to open up if there's anything nice that's gonna, come about. So I think ultimately looking at the stats after I had a couple days to mull on it, this new guy from the Cardinals is Petzing. He does what Dan wants, and I think that's why they hired him, is because he's trying to get back to the old ways. He's friends with Ben Johnson. He knows stuff that Ben Johnson does. I think it's a little bit of what you want to get back to.
Yeah, I did send it to Reid because he's the Lions guy on the pod, So I think Petzing is you gotta give him a little time. I think Lions fans were so not you, Reid, but a lot of Lions fans were so John Morton is gonna do good for us last season, and then what did he do? Absolutely nothing. So I think his pedigree and his coaching overall is a lot better. He has more pedigree, has more experience doing it, so he's reliable. And let's talk about, I know 2025, I sent this to you guys, but I'm gonna read it real quick. I know in 2025, this past season, the Cardinals offense ranked 23 in scoring and 19 in total offense, including number 31 in rushing and number 7 in passing. Mind you, with Kyler Murray being in and out of lineup, missed most of the season, Jacoby Brissett, who, if I mind you, had, I think, pretty good year for a really high end up, a back end starter, or really, really one of the best backups in the league. And then James Conner goes out. He breaks his ankle, and they lose another running back. They're down to their fourth and fifth string running backs. Then Marvin Harrison's been nowhere to be found in the last 2 years. Trey McBride's turned to a superstar. Offensive line is not good. So I think what he gets to work with here is going to make his job a lot easier with J-Mo, St. Brown, Tesla. Hopefully Laporta comes back healthy. Maybe if he's running a lot of 12, 13 personnel, go get another tight end. You could go find somebody in the draft.
Johnny Smith.
Yeah, you guys can have him. He better be cut by the new year. So that's number one guy on my cut list. But yeah, I just think like you said, they will cut Montgomery. I think he's kind of hinted that he wants to be out of here, or he knows he's going to be gone, which, I appreciate what he did. But it's clearly Gibbs is the number one guy, but you got to get somebody who's capable of helping him out just to keep some wear and tear off him and make sure he stays as healthy as he can to get to the season. But I'm cool with it. Give him a shot. I think it can work for the Lions. And then they said he doesn't like to throw the ball down the field, but that's because Kyler Murray was hurt and he couldn't do it. Like Jared Goff can throw the ball down the field. Give him time, get the offensive line better. You have J-Mo, St. Brown in the middle of the field, Tesla, who's a jump ball go-getter. So I think you have the pieces and the parts that are going to complement what his offense is going to do and be a lot easier for him.
Yeah, if they end up moving on from Montgomery, get a guy like Katron Allen from Penn State. He could be a good thumper to Gibbs' Lightning.
You guys can have Caleb Johnson if you want him.
I'd actually take him, to be honest with you, for a song.
We don't play him anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I like the hire though. I know a lot of people have McDaniels at the top of the list, but I'm not mad at this hire at all. Have some faith in the guy. Dan Campbell, we seen him pull a plug with Anthony Lynn mid-season. He just did it with John Morton. Have some faith in the guy. Don't relieve him of his duties mid-season. You hired him. So, Campbell, you got to get this right. You can't keep hiring these guys and firing them. You're assembling your staff. Have some faith in the guy. You hired him. You brought him here. Obviously, you've seen something in him. So, have some faith in the guy.
All right, Reid, real quick before we move off. Sorry. All right, what are they going to do with Calvin Shepard? Is he staying, or what's going on with that situation?
Comment in here. Eli or Elante said, I heard Shepard's getting the Miami job. I mean, I would like him to get the Miami job because one, I get third-round picks for him, and two, we could probably interview Brian Flores and hopefully take Brian Flores for our DC. Although I did see Adrian, he's potentially interviewing for the Steelers. Yes. I know that'd be your dream hire.
Him or Shula, I would love, because I know if he comes, he bring one of those Rams offensive-minded guys with him. So those are the two guys I'm targeting for the Steelers' next head coaching job, who I'd be happy with.
Yeah, ultimately, I think Shep does stay. I think that the coaching pool with some of these other guys in more, a little bit more successful organizations that didn't have 1 year under their belt of a coordinator probably would get the head coaching job over him. But yeah, I think that I would like him to go get hired at Miami again or somewhere else to get the picks because you need third-round picks back. But ultimately, I think he stays. I think he gets another shot. I mean, you got to look at it, as much as I hate to blame it. You lose Brian Branch, you lose Kirby Joseph, you lost Terrion Arnold, you lost DJ Reed for part of the season. You have guys that are coming into their own, like Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Anzalone. I think he's got 1 more year, but he could be gone. I think that they, probably want to draft. I'm sure they'll go get another corner unless they plan on keeping Rakestraw again. If he's not healthy, I'm cutting him. Got to get rid of him, even though you probably should do it now. But yeah, ultimately, I think Shepard stays. One of the guys I was going to say, you said Allen. I don't know if Singleton will be there in the later rounds. I would like him because he's a big back, but I don't know if he's coming out. But Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas.
He's a senior, and he's going to be at the Senior Bowl, so he's got to come out.
So he's a guy that if I'm the Lions and you trade Demo, because I don't think he's going to get cut. Demo still has I think he's got 1 more year on his contract, and you can still get value for him because people know how he plays. So ultimately, I don't think he gets cut. I think he gets traded because I think a team will try and take him. But he's a guy that he's 6'2", 225. Kind of an Ollie Gordon type running back that, like Raj said, he could be the thump to Gibbs' shift. So he's a guy that I would like, and I don't think he's probably going to go very early unless, he shows out in the Senior Bowl and Combine. But if you can get a 3rd-round pick somehow or get a 4th-round pick, I would take him if he's there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Him or I like Emmett Johnson too from Nebraska. I'm not sure if he declared or not, but Emmett Johnson.
He did.
Yeah, he's pretty high on the rankings here for projections. He's the 4th overall ranked running back in next year's draft. Love Jonah Coleman from Washington.
That's a stud right there. That's a good card.
Price from
Notre
Dame, and then Johnson's 4th. Then Singleton, Allen, Claiborne from Wake Forest, and then Washington's the 8th ranked. But again, I'm looking at guys who are a little bit bigger, because you can still be 5'10" or whatever and have thump. This another one, Le'Veon Moss from A&M, I think would be.
Him and Claiborne from Wake Forest fumbled. I think he had 6 or 7 fumbles this year, and Moss has been quite banged up, so that's the only thing kind of worried me about those two. But also, what are the Lions going to do with the secondary? Because we know Branch is not playing this year, and Kirby Joseph, we don't know what the status of that is. So it's a little concern for me as well right there. I think they can kind of fix the D-line and linebacker. I think I was wrong about Jack Campbell. I wasn't high on him, but I will say he's turned into a stud player. But the secondary concerns me as well. So
I would say for the Lions, if you're going it depends. So there's a lot of ifs I'm going to throw out here. If you restructure Goff, if you restructure St. Brown, like there's been talk about doing, if Ragnar or Glasgow retires, if Decker retires, they already said that they're going to cut Decker if he doesn't retire, which I don't really love because Decker still played really well, even though he was banged up, and he's still a good left tackle, but he is banged up. But it would save you money. Obviously, that's probably why they would do it. But yeah, you have to go and if you do that and you free up that 130 to 40 odd mil in cap space that it would free up if you do those moves and you trade David Montgomery, you have to go and throw the house at Linderbaum from the Ravens. Is that who it is? Yeah, Linderbaum is from the Ravens. I would probably look at a tackle in the draft potentially, or see who's out there. I know Caden Proctor's been a guy that they've been connected to for a draft pick. The kid out of
I think he's a guard.
I wouldn't love an Alabama offensive lineman, to be honest with you, but he's there. He's listed as a tackle. Is he a guard? He could be. Or the kid out of Utah. Not
which one you
not
got? You got Fanu and
no,
Lomo.
Lomo is the guy. The second one that's projected to go over the two. I think Fanu's going to go. He's projected to go in the top 10. I don't know if he's there. I would love him. That's the guy that I ultimately want, but I don't think the Lions are going to move up to get him. So address the offensive line, I think, is the first thing that you do. And then the secondary, you got to see what Kirby's situation is. Potentially see if you can find a vet guy that can play safety. Your corners are going to be a big up in the air. You re-sign a Meek, obviously. DJ Reid, you hope, gets back to kind of how DJ Reid plays. It sucks watching Davis play well in the playoffs for the Patriots. And Terrion Arnold, you hope. I mean, Terrion Arnold, he commits a lot of fouls, but man, he's a good corner. I will give him that. He does lock down. When they played the Bengals, he held Chase to like 20 yards in the first half, and then he got hurt, and Chase went off in the second half. So I think he's a good corner. I think that he just commits a lot of penalties. So I think their main concern is going to be the O-line. So draft, I would say they're going to draft an offensive lineman. They'll probably draft something for defense, and I think they're going to go running back and tight end if Monty goes, and this guy wants more tight ends. So Brock Wright's going to be back, Laporta hopefully back, and they'll probably go for a tight end in one of the rounds.
Yeah, get a developmental quarterback in the later rounds too. You know, a K Klubnik or King from Georgia Tech, or just a late round guy. You know, why not? And
Brad, if you're listening to me, because I know you are, please, for everything that I love, do not go and draft some project safety / running back out of Utah in Greenland for 2 years. I do not need an offensive lineman that played in Chechnya.
All right, and I'm going to give you – I just looked at 2 mock drafts, one on Tankathon. They had the Lions at 17 taking Caden Proctor, and then CBS Sports had at 17 had the Lions taking David Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind edge. I think I would hope that you would maybe find a vet that's out there. I don't know. I got to look at free agents who's out there. I don't know who's available right now, but.
Yeah, I mean, that first round pick needs to be offensive or a defensive lineman.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
And I'm sorry, I don't think you need guards. I think you're fine with Mahogany and Ratledge. I don't need you drafting guards.
Yeah. All right, let's see some of the feedback here. It says all the signs are leading to the Lions being very, very mediocre for a while.
I say Ish, just hold up on that and let's see what they do in free agency in the draft, and then we can go from there.
I would love, well, I agree with Adrian, but Ish, I would like to know why you think that they're going to be mediocre for a while, and I'll give you a rebuttal when that chat comes in.
Yeah, if they have a strong draft, a strong free agency, the Lions will be right back in the mix.
If they get the $140 million and they address the serious offensive line concerns and like an edge rusher, I think that people got to remember that they're going to have a far easier schedule next year. And the teams like the Bears and the Packers are going to have harder schedules. So like it's going to be, and I'm not saying that the Bears are going to go, 500 next year. I still think they're going to be a good team, but they're going to have a lot harder schedule. They won a lot of miracle games this year, but the Lions are going to have a lot easier schedule. I don't think they're going to be necessarily mediocre, but I definitely think they're going to be better than they were last year. Again, like Adrian said, you got to wait for the draft. Raj was talking about addressing the issues. You got to wait for that stuff before I call them having mediocre for a while.
For sure. I want to see them add another veteran receiver as well to booster that receiving staff up. You got Tesla, J-Mo, St. Brown, and that's it. You pretty much got 3 guys.
Raymond's been pretty good safety net, but I agree with you. He's not a guy that you're probably going to keep.
Yeah. All right, let's see some more of the feedback here. It says, I do not want to see a Seahawks versus Patriots Super Bowl. Would have been nice if the Bears would have pulled off the win.
I'm gonna just say this is whoever wins the NFC is winning the Super Bowl, and just point blank period. So Rams and Seahawks, I don't see the Patriots are. I think they were 4th in the league with the amount of snaps that rookies played. I think they're we're playing above their weight right now. Drake May's a stud, but I just think Seattle or the Rams are just too good.
Yeah, I think where their NFC team goes, and I think the defense is going to be far too hard for the Patriots to bat. I mean, the Patriots don't have a very good wide receiving core. I mean, Stephon Diggs is okay. You got Booty and Douglas are kind of boom bust players, and then the tight ends can Hooper and Henry can ghost out at any point. So I agree with Adrian. I think the NFC probably wins it this year. My hope is the Rams, just because I'm a huge Stafford guy, and I still hate the Seahawks from when the Lions had to play them so many times.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to see my guy Stafford get his second ring.
Yep.
All right, last one here. It says Montgomery is a beast at running back. Please keep him Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Adrian.
No, I was just say they may not be able to. I mean, I would like them to, but if it works out better where they can get more cap space, some more assets, and more players, is going to benefit the team overall. They can replace him. Unfortunately, we know running back is if you don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs, a Bijan, a Christian McCaffrey, and or like a James Cook, you can be replaced very easily.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, after all the stuff that happened at the end of the season where he posted the picture of his locker and the person commenting on his Instagram photo and him agreeing with the guy saying that he's not used enough. I still love Demo. I mean, there's not a lot of ill will. I don't like the move. I get it. It's a business. You want to play. You want to get your time. You want to potentially get another contract. I just don't think that, crying your way out of it when you're stuck behind arguably a top 3 running back in the league and Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of a tough look for you. But yeah, ultimately I think the writing's on the wall for Montgomery, and if they can find a proper suitor that they can trade him to, I think they'll probably take the trade.
Hey, let them link back up with AG. Aaron Glenn, the Jets need everything out there, and Breece Hall's a free agent. No way he's re-signing with the Jets. So I'm sure they're going to need a running back.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this before we move off to football. I swear to God, guys, every mock draft I have looked at so far, and the season just ended, I swear to God, the Steelers draft Ty Simpson, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
I mean, that's basically just drafting like first round Will Howard because Simpson played okay. I mean, I think he's worse than Will Howard because I think Will Howard's bigger and more mobile.
A lot's going to depend on the coach we hire too. But if we're going to do that, you might as well just go give Malik Willis a 2-year deal and say let's run with it and draft a quarterback in 2027. That's just the best way I think they can get out of this quarterback thing right now. But I swear, if we draft another undersized guy who's not athletic again, I'm not gonna be happy, man.
Yeah, I'm not as big on Ty Simpson. I mean, he could be a good quarterback, but I feel like he should have came back another year.
The rumors was that I don't know if you've seen the rumors, but they were saying even if he came back, that there wouldn't have been a spot for him at Bama because they got the 5-star Keelan Russell supposed to be next up, and apparently Miami offered him reportedly like $6.5 million to come over there and play quarterback, which is absolutely insane. But now the rumor that the guy from Duke, Darren Mensah, is going to be going to Miami. Quarterback from that is just at Duke.
The last thing, did you guys see that Mendoza's brother entered the transfer portal?
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
He already committed to Georgia Tech?
Already, yeah.
Oh, wow, nice. I do want to say, since we're on the Steelers really quickly before we move off, is wide receiver or is quarterback your number one thing that you want? I know it's probably not quarterback in this draft, at least in the first round.
In the first round, it's absolutely wide receiver without a doubt.
Who's in mind?
Well, realistically, who I think could be there, I would like a Denzel Boston from Washington, maybe a Makai Lemon if he can fall that far down to us.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I don't think Carnell Tate and Tyson will be going, I believe, in the top 12. There's not a fat chance neither one of them will be available, but it absolutely has to be. We're gonna if a good corner's there. I like the corner from NC State or South Carolina, Brandon Cisse. He's like 6'3". He's like kind of like a Joey Porter Jr. Because I do actually like James Pierre, but receiver is definitely probably number one. Offensive line, I think we're okay right now. I think we have some capable guys playing. We're not going to go running back. We need a safety, but you can get that in the second round. There's been rumors that we may be cutting Patrick Queen, which would save us like $13.5 million. So
It's so weird to see guys like Patrick Queen who just
he's
like
good. He played well.
He played well for the Steelers and he killed it for the Ravens the last couple of years too. Like it's just so weird to see these guys just fall off bridges out of nowhere. Like what happens? Defensive scheme, like not in it. I don't know. Like, I mean, if Patrick Queen gets cut, that's a guy that I would like the Lions to sign. I think he's a solid linebacker. That's like, I mean, you guys know Devin Bush from Michigan was a high prospect coming out. He got cut a few times, and now he's playing well on. Where's he at now?
He's in Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, he was playing well. Like he did well. It's just so weird. The reason I asked Adrian because I pulled up this thing for the rankings. Tate's 1, Tyson's 2, Lemon's 3, Boston's 4, and then Bell, Concepcion, Brazel, Surratt are top 8. The guys that I think would be good, if they're not going to if you're not taking them in the first round, I think that Concepcion and I also think Surratt coming off that Indiana team. I think those are 2 guys that would be really good for Pittsburgh as wide receivers. Again, you got to figure out what you're doing at quarterback, but I think those 2 guys would fit really well for that team. The only problem is you probably would want more Concepcion because he's more of a slot guy and you don't really need any deep threats with DK. And Surratt's a bigger guy. He's 6'2", 6'3", 200 something pounds. So, I mean, that's kind of more DK, but I think Concepcion would be sick for the Steelers personally. I watched him play in that playoff game, and he's incredible this year. That kid.
I did. There's a podcast I listen to. It's called NFL Stock Exchange, so they just do all draft talk and stuff. And they were talking about it. The Steelers going and get Malik Willis, and then potentially get Romeo Doubs, and then draft a receiver in the draft. Which I'd be fine if he signed like a Romeo Doubs. He's more of a vet guy. He can do everything. I'd be okay with that. So then you have the 3 receivers right there, and then if Roman Wilson's my 4th receiver, that's fine. But like I said, a lot's going to do with what happens with the coaching staff. And we all talk about scheme is a very important thing for players in the NFL, as we all know. And if not in the right scheme, you won't be utilized well. Look at Kyle Shanahan does with every player that touches the offensive side of the football. So like I think Saleh leaving and going to Tennessee is going to kill San Francisco's defense.
So this is why. Let me tell you a little bit on my guy Concepcion. The reason that I said him for the Steelers. He's a slot. His role is slot receiver. He's 21. He ran a 4.46 40 as of right now. Obviously, it's going to be different when the combine comes around and all of his other measurables. He has a 76% defensive rating. So that's obviously him getting open against the defense. The QB rating when he was targeted is 100.7. And he, for short route receiving percentage, he had 82% completion percentage. Intermediate route was 86, and his deep threats 87, and he's 70% for blocking. He's technically the 6th ranked wide receiver in the draft, but he's 8th on this site, so he's 6th across all sites. But I think that would be a guy that would fit perfectly for the Steelers scheme. That's my guy that I would hope they draft for you.
And, of course, we're picking at 21. We usually pick at 18, 19, 21, or 22 Raaj and Reid, which is the same thing for the last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, lucky for y'all, this is a deep receiver draft. So
Yeah.
So, Adrian, Sean McDermott just got fired as the Bills head coach. Is that somebody you would like to see your Steelers hire?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think the coaching pool for this like hiring cycle is a lot of strong defensive coordinators. You got McDermott, obviously, and I think it's going to determine, does McDermott want to go right back into coaching right after he gets fired? Maybe he wants to pull a Mike Tomlin and at least take a year off. So you got like E.J. Evero, you got Brian Flores, Anthony Weaver, Chris Shula, Jeff Hapley just got the Dolphins job. Stefanski's the only offensive guy, I believe, who's been hired this far. Saleh got the Titans job. Harbaugh, more of a special teams guy, but he leans more defense. He got the Giants job. So I'm not opposed to it. Just what the Steelers need is a CEO, like a leader of men. That's typically what they kind of do in the coaching hiring. But the biggest problem with them over these last years is they do not know how to be innovative and kind of adapt to modern NFL. You can still play that kind of style, but you have to be updated and kind of like figure out what's going on. They want to just keep playing like it's same thing I always talk about with Michigan when I have issues with them on the offensive side of the football. if you're gonna get left behind. And I know I can complain about getting to the playoffs, and it sounds really selfish. But at what point are we gonna win a playoff game like that? I don't want to be a bottom of the barrel team, but you gotta win a playoff game. There's teams that have got to the playoffs and lucked into a playoff win. Look what Tim Tebow did to us when he made the playoffs that year. He threw that to Demarius Thomas. So, I could rant on forever, but I'm just hoping we get a good guy. So we'll see in this next week and a half or so.
I think McDermott could go along like the McDaniel thing. I ultimately think McDaniel could probably take the Ravens job because it's probably the most enticing with Lamar and Henry for him. But I think guys like that could potentially take OC jobs and pull the Salah where they go for a year of coordinating and maybe get to a playoff team like the 49ers did. And then, I mean, the Titans job isn't like super sexy, but you have a guy who has the potential in Cam Ward. The defense is it could use some tweaks, but it's solid. You have Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, who's your linchpin for the defensive line. So I think that they probably wait for teams that are on the come up and are only a few things away with good cap space and probably go after those if you get a young quarterback for your who's good like Cam Ward potentially can be. Did anybody take the Raiders job yet?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
All right, let's see. You got a comment here. Ali Ente says, just run it back with Rodgers one more year.
I'm gonna say no to that one. I appreciate what he did, but no, just retire, A-Rod. We appreciate it.
Yes,
he tried to go?
Time to hang it up.
You don't think he tries to find another team one or two more years?
Not unless. I don't see him doing that. I don't see it. Just walk off. Just call it a career, and you'll be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years. And
right into the sunset on a playoff loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no team that's an Aaron Rodgers away right now from going on the Super Bowl run. He's not taking nobody over the top at this point. All right, so cool. So Adrian, Indiana, Michigan update.
Let me get that for you. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna just check. It is 70. Michigan 72. Indiana 50. Or Michigan 79. Sorry, Indiana 61 with 3:42 left.
You said it's 61 to what?
79, 61 Michigan.
Okay, cool.
Knew I should have taken Michigan at 17.5.
Oh, I did. Oh, guys, I did. This is real random, so I'm a little crazy. Miami of Ohio is undefeated right now. They just got ranked in the top 25. They are currently losing on the road at Kent State. I took Kent State with the points, so that's looking real good right now.
Oh, wait, I did take Michigan 17.5. Nice. I forgot I did that.
Yes,
it's kind of a high number, but
also Spurs and Rockets game is underway. First quarter is almost over. It's 32-24 San Antonio. I do think they may make the NBA Finals, guys.
The Spurs?
Yeah.
Them and OKC and a West Coast Western final that's gonna be Knicks Pistons last year. That's gonna be like the must watch TV of the playoffs, I think. Other than Knicks Pistons, if they get to it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last question. State at Oregon tonight. State 11-point favorite in that one. Adrian, the State cover that spread.
State does cover that spread. Oregon's their two best players are currently out right now. Normally they're a pretty good program, but I don't see State losing. Oh, guys, breaking news. Sorry. Mike McDaniel is expected to become the Chargers' new offensive coordinator.
Wow, that's a good job for him.
Yeah, that's a great job.
Good job for him. Get that O-line back healthy. I might put a little future on the Chargers to become a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, talk about going from Miami to LA. Your boy loves the spotlight.
Yeah, he does. Sunglass McDaniel.
That's a huge pickup. I think that might be the best acquisition right now in the coaching coordinator position right now so far this offseason.
For sure. Chargers might finally get over the hump. Bo Nix injured, Patrick Mahomes injured. Hey, this could possibly be their year. They might win that division.
Just got to keep Slater and Alt healthy and maybe draft another alignment and keeps Herbert up and clean, and it'll be nice for them. I still would love to be a fly on the wall to know what happened with that hire for McDaniel, why they didn't want to hire him. Just I mean, because the Chargers are an interesting team. Him and Harbaugh seem to have the same type of mentality. But, I mean, you got a lot of weapons here in Detroit. You would think that would be enticing for McDaniel, but it must be some discourse between the organization and him. So,
yeah, I think so. It could be a comment. Maybe he just didn't want to be here in this weather. Who knows? Who knows? You know, you never know.
if I was him, I would probably look at it that way.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean,
I told you guys I just wanted to go get milk for my kids, and it was 11 degrees outside. I damn near froze. I didn't want to be out there. I wouldn't want to be out there coaching. Granted, you're not coaching a game in Ford Field, but I wouldn't want to be in Chicago in the end of the year and coaching against the Bears, freezing cold.
Yeah. Well, maybe he likes Justin Herbert better than Jared Goff, so that could be a thing too as well. So, you know,
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he came up here for his interview during this polar vortex, that definitely didn't help. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Well, yeah, good show, fellas.
Next week, let's do a mock draft because we'll have a better idea who's coming, who's going, and the Senior Bowl is next week. So there's more good stuff gonna come out about that as well too.
We're not far from the draft, boys. It's gonna be here before we know it.
Pittsburgh, baby, in Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we take a road trip.
I would love it, but the amount of people that are going to be there are going to be absolutely insane.
For sure. All right, cool. Well, yeah, sports update. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all like the video, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.